Hello, and welcome back to the Spoiler Cast, the show where we talk about movies and we don't care about spoiling them. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusted co-host, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello, and today we are talking about a new movie.
Yes.
Big surprise, huh? No, but it is kind of a, because it's the first time, at least you have been in the cinema for over a month, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have to just mention this. When we sat down and the trailers began, I was like, I've missed this.
Yeah.
This feeling, the screen, the quality.
Yeah.
It's very different compared to my computer, which is what I mostly look at.
Yeah. Oh, it's been 2 months, because the last time you were in the theater was Nosferatu in the beginning of January.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. I've only been one more time since then. I saw Baby Girl in the theater about a month ago. Yeah, it's it feels weird. It's only been 1 month since I was in the theater. It was like, yeah, it's nice. Yeah. It's fun. Anyway, yeah, so we're talking about, today, we're talking about one of the more anticipated movies of the year, maybe, I don't know. It's Bong Joon-Ho's Mickey 17. Whoa! Yeah. Bong Joon-Ho is back with his baseball bat to bash us over the face with some social commentary.
Yes.
Yeah. Mickey 17, written and directed by Bong Joon-Ho, based on a book called Mickey 7 by someone. Starring Josh Pattinson? What's his name? Robert Pattinson. Sorry. Who's Josh Pattinson?
I don't think it's anyone.
No.
No one known, at least.
Robert Pattinson, Stephen Yeun, what's his name? Thor? What's his name?
Thor?
Hulk. Hulk. Sorry, Hulk.
Oh god, yeah, him. Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo.
Toni Collette.
Toni Collette, yes.
My favorite.
Yeah.
And a few others.
Yeah. And it's a story of Mickey Barnes, who in the near future, 2053 or something like that,
I think so, yeah.
decides to go on a trip, on a colonization trip to the planet Niflheim.
Yes.
Where he signs on to the 4.5-year journey as an expendable, which means that he will do all the dirty work. He will be like a guinea pig, do all the dirty work you can do, and he signed away the rights for them to clone him, basically. Yeah. Whenever he dies, they can just make a copy of him so he can keep doing weird stuff that will kill him.
Or just, risk his life in case it might kill him.
Yeah, exactly. And hilarity ensues.
Yes. Both on and off the ship.
Yeah. So, as per usual, what did you think of Mickey 17?
I thought it was an okay movie. But just a little, I don't know if it's the right word to use for it, but it felt a little bit like an adventure movie at points.
Yeah.
With the stuff he did in space and shit.
Yeah, towards the end, especially. Yeah.
That part was really fun. I liked that. Not sure I enjoyed the social commentary. That was a bit too on the nose.
Yeah.
It was a bit too much.
It was a
Took
bit
over at points.
Message!
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, we get it, shut up. Can I learn more about the science and the fun stuff that we can do with all this instead?
Yeah.
It's like seeing all the experiments and all the failures was kind of fun. Even though it came in bits and pieces of montages spread out every now and then almost. Because we saw parts of it, and then we saw more parts of it, and then they showed us other parts of it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But no, I liked it. It wasn't a masterpiece, but it was pretty good. Like a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Yeah, I agree. I am not a huge fan of Bong Joon-Ho. I haven't seen all of his movies, but the movies I have seen, they vary from like pretty good to no, they're all pretty good, just like whatever kind of movies, to be honest. And I gotta say, I wasn't super excited to go see this, because his last movie, Parasite, was, in my opinion, and I guess in both our opinions, super overhyped.
Yes.
So I thought there was going to be like a rush for everyone to go see this. Now, we, granted, saw this in the middle of the week, pretty early in the day. Well, afternoon,
like
I
a
suppose,
Tuesday
but in the middle
afternoon.
Of the week. Yeah. It was basically empty.
Before everyone gets their salaries and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But it was basically empty.
It was basically empty.
And I've heard it's kind of bombing in the box office. But I mean, that's every movie nowadays, unless it's a Disney movie.
True.
It feels like. Yeah, I thought it was incredibly like all his movies. That's the thing. This felt exactly like a Bong Joon-Ho movie. If you've seen more of them, it's incredibly blunt. Tries to be clever, but it isn't. But still kind of fun.
Yeah, it's still well made and all that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
It's just the messaging always comes across. I'm saying always. I've seen two of his movies now, but it in those two movies comes across very like need to make sure you actually understand what I'm trying to say, and even then, specifically with Parasite, we talked about that. The message is there, and it is very clear, but it doesn't come across as what he wants us to think, or at least not to me, because we discussed that when we did the episode on it, that like even if it's all rich people bad, poor people good, yeah, that's not what you're showing us, you dumbass.
Yeah, it gets a little confused in that one. Here I think it's very clear.
There's no bad guy except for the bad guy. Like,
yeah. And, I mean, there's even a scene when one of the characters, like, literally just stops to look straight into the camera and say, "The government is bad. They do not care about the little people, and colonization is bad."
Yes.
And it's like, okay.
I mean, she uses the word "you colonizer."
Staring.
Screams it angrily.
Yeah. But it's kind of what's kind of funny, I think, is like, yeah, maybe this is a little more blunt than like Parasite or like Okja, but I know a lot of people have said that, like, oh, this feels more blunt, more not pandering, but more direct in its messaging than his other movies. I'm like, no, all his movies are like this. Everyone's like, it's like a caricature, and everyone's screaming and like waving their fist like, "This is what I'm trying to say."
Yeah, but I guess then comparing to Parasite, he muddled the characters more, because what he wanted to say kind of failed because he made all characters bad in that movie.
Yeah,
no one's the good guy.
Yeah, I guess
here we have a very clear, this is the good guy. He has technically not done anything wrong throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
And from what we know before the movie. Except for that one pressing of a button that might have been fatal at one point, but, well.
And I also think why people really like that one, and why that became kind of his. I mean, he had. You
mean
like,
Parasite?
Parasite. He obviously had a long career before that movie, like almost 20 years.
Oh yeah, he started his first movie as a writer.
Go director.
Writer was 1997, and then director was 2000.
2000, yeah. So he had an almost 20-year career as a director.
He had a couple of shorts before that, but I'm not counting them.
No. But aside from Memoir of a Murderer, which I think is his first one.
Yeah, that's the second directing.
Second, okay. Which is the first one?
Barking Dogs Never Bite.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. But other than those two then, he'd only done like science fiction, fantasy, action-oriented movies, but still having that kind of strong messaging. So Parasite felt like it was like, and all of his movies are kind of comedic in a way, like darkly comedic, like Okja and Snowpiercer, Mickey 17, obviously. The Host even, or host, the Host. I don't know. The Host. Okay.
Or Gomol.
Yeah. So I think that's also why people, it was like a second breakthrough for him with Parasite. Like, oh my god, it's like a real movie. But it's I think Parasite is just as wacky as his other movies. It's just that it's more grounded.
He has done one that is more grounded though. It's a psychological thriller.
Oh yeah, he's early everything after The Host is kind of wacky. That's what I mean.
Mother from 2009.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, Mother. Right. Sure.
But that also kind of feels like random movie in the middle of all.
Yeah, because most of his movies are, it's kind of a high concept movie, as we talked about on Patreon recently.
Because after that was Snowpiercer and Okja, and yeah. Snowpiercer, I never realized that was him. I haven't seen it, but like it pops up every now and then. Like, oh, maybe I should watch that.
Yeah, it was because he wasn't famous yet.
No,
like The Host had been like a minor like cult hit here in the Western world. Like
I honestly didn't know about him until Parasite.
No, that's what I mean.
Like I've seen The Host. I think I've seen the poster for The Host and for Snowpiercer and even Okja just floating about and never realizing it was him.
Yeah. No, because the Host was like I said, it was a minor hit. It kind of came along with the wave of Asian like horror movies in the early 2000s.
Yeah, the early 2000s, yeah.
So it was available on DVD here in Sweden, and I know a lot of my friends like bought it and watched it because it had the cool poster.
I remember seeing that in like the video store and going like, oh, maybe we should watch that, and then going, it's in Korean, that's annoying.
So his name stuck because I saw it, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. And then it popped up again then when Snowpiercer kind of did the same thing. It became like popular on Blu-ray. And I was like, ooh, Snowpiercer, cool sci-fi action movie. And I bought it and I was like, this is incredibly blunt and dumb. And I was like, what is this name? I recognize it. Oh, it's that guy.
Oh.
So I've always been like, I don't know. But anyway,
Snowpiercer is the one when they have like the different class systems, right?
Yeah,
parts.
each car of the train is a different class.
So the closer you are to the front, the higher class you are.
Yeah. Like it's so
subtle.
Do you get it? Third class, second class, first class train cars?
It's kind of like that, that rain scene in Parasite where it's just a regular rain up top on the hill with the rich people, and then
further down the stairs you go.
As it flows down the dirty streets, it grabs all the dirt and floods the poor people's apartments underground.
Yeah. It's
so kind of dumb, and I kind of don't want to like him as a director, but at the same time, like the actual quality of the movie and what he makes, like if you separate the story or the moral of it, it's a good film.
Yeah, like the technical aspect is always good.
Yeah.
Same thing here.
Super annoying.
Yeah, cinematography is great. Music is good, whatever. All the CGI was great.
Yeah.
Pacing was good.
The idea was pretty good as well.
Yeah.
It's just that the way he decided to tell the story became a little bit annoying.
It's this because he has this satirical tone.
Yes.
That makes it like it makes it feel like he doesn't take it.
Is he making fun of us?
Yeah, exactly.
He's making fun of the audience.
And I just can't. It just doesn't fit me, and that's kind of funny because we mentioned it before, Man Carrying Thing, or I guess Woman Carrying Man, because that's where he talks about movies. He said the same thing. Like he liked his earlier movies and stuff, but he said he couldn't get behind the tone of this movie. And I was like, this has the exact same tone as all the other of his movies. It's just that people who kind of found him through Parasite maybe weren't prepared for the science fiction aspect of it.
Yeah.
But if you've seen his other movies, that you're more used to his science fiction movies and his grounded movies. It's like, no, this is Bong Joon-Ho. This is what he does.
Yeah.
And if
I'm
you like
through his review,
if you like that style, you're gonna love it. If you don't like it, it's gonna be just as grating as his other movies.
Yeah, because I keep getting confused because you just call him man carrying thing, but he's called Jake on Letterboxd, right?
Yeah, because that's his real name.
Real
Jake's
name.
Something, whatever.
His second sentence: lemony snickety sci-fi. Don't look up broad satire meets EEAO's earnestness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this also, like, it feels like it's the style of this movie specifically reminded me of someone else's style, the look of it. And I kept thinking of oh god, I'm blanking. What's his name? The guy who we saw last year with the alien that came down in the middle of the desert with little city of people who were stuck there.
Oh, Wes Anderson?
Yes, but I think it's just the coloring of the poster that made me think of that mainly.
Well, yeah, the kind of pastel colors.
Yeah, and the bright pastels, like,
yeah,
and how, like, silly and extreme characters. He has those. They're caricatures of themselves sometimes. We have that in this one as well. Some of them, not all of them.
Yeah, no.
Like the leader of the group, whatever his title was.
Yeah, I don't remember. Mark Ruffalo's Trump impersonation.
Yeah, basically. It's just
Kenneth Marshall.
Right, Marshall, that's the one.
Yeah, like that was one of the things. It was such an obvious, like, bad Trump impersonation. Yeah, to the point where he even did the little, like, moves on his promotional
how
videos.
The inflection when he spoke sometimes was exactly the way they do it on, like, Saturday Night Live skits.
And they gave him a fake tan, but it wasn't orange. It was more tan, actually.
White
tan.
teeth.
Yeah. And he was a complete buffoon.
Yes.
Who was just like controlled by everyone else in his campaign party, whatever.
Specifically his wife and his assistant, I guess he was. The guy with the piercing, which was, I guess, for some reason that piercing annoyed me, and at the same time went, that's good. I don't often see a person with a piercing in that kind of role in movies.
No, because usually in a more professional setting like that, you don't have piercings, but it's also that no one else in the movie had a piercing.
Exactly.
So
it fascinated me somehow.
We didn't even see any earrings, so to see one, like, whatever that's called, little button thing here.
Stud or something?
Yeah. It was like, oh, okay. And he even made a point of, like, touching it when he was, like, fixing himself.
And we often saw him in, like, sort of side profiles, so it stuck out extra. It's like,
why is he the only one with a piercing, and why is it that one?
Why?
No, like, he was... Yeah, Mark Ruffalo was good, but and he obviously had fun with the role, but it was just so, like, we get it. It's too obvious.
Yes.
And that's a problem with all his characters. I think they're too, like I said, that's the whole thing. Too much, too blunt. It's like, ooh, too blunt, but then trying to act like it's clever. Like, go full farce, go full satire then.
Yeah, make everyone go all the way, not just...
Yeah.
Because Robert Pattinson was a bit different from everyone else, well, for multiple reasons, but I found it a bit strange that his different printings had certain changes in personality.
Something they didn't quite explain.
There's a lot of the science that didn't get explained. Yeah. We had a short conversation about that on the way home yesterday.
Yeah.
Or the other day.
Yeah, I think...
Do we want to get into that?
I don't know. We haven't.
Is there a point to complain about that?
No, not really. I think it was just a way for them to distinguish, because eventually, I mean, you see it's on the poster, and I think it's in the trailers even. At one point, Mickey 17, which is the 17th version of him, they think he dies when he falls through the ice during a excavation exploration thing. But he doesn't. he survives, and when he comes back to the base, then it's the next day. So they've already like made a new copy of him because like, oh whatever, he died. Let's make a new one.
Yeah.
So now there's two of them all of a sudden, and I think they needed to distinguish a little bit between the two.
Sure.
So they gave them different personalities, and
They
also
were
to
very
make
starkly different.
yes, because.
More dumb.
But they needed the character to kind of take control of the narrative.
Sure.
And Mickey 17 couldn't do this, and they needed one that was a little more
True.
Harsh, angry, direct,
Assertive.
That's the word. Yeah. And then they were like, and then you had the voiceover like, yeah, that makes sense, because Nasha, his girlfriend, was like, she said that Mickey 8 was kind of clingy and Mickey 13 was a wimp. It's like, oh, now you're telling us that. Okay, Mickey 1, the original Mickey that we saw in the beginning of the movie, and Mickey 17 are the exact same person, but I guess the other ones in between were a little different. But then
could you have showed that when you showed us the other ones then a little bit, maybe?
That's what it's an afterthought because obviously the changes had to be very small since Mickey 1 and Mickey 17 are pretty much the same, but Mickey 18 is very, very different. So then I'm guessing then it feels like, shouldn't all the other differences be very blunt and radical? No, not enough to actually tell us about it until now. Stuff like that, little stuff like that, or just the fact that they have a. This isn't a spoiler either. It's just, they have a cloning machine.
Oh yeah,
but and they can clone it from just organic waste, basically.
Yes,
like food scraps. I think even like. Waste, like poop and pee stuff?
Waste. Yeah. All kinds of waste products.
Yeah.
They shove dead bodies in there to like melt it down to make the soup or whatever they called it.
Yeah. But instead of then, and they can obviously clone organic material since they use it to create new Mickeys.
Yes.
But for some reason, they only use it to clone Mickey. They don't use it to create any other food.
They mention a bit that it's unethical.
Yeah, to create humans, sure, but if you create meat, that's different.
Yes. That's the one we discussed a little bit. Like, why don't you just clone cows? Or chickens?
Yeah.
Or pigs?
Because the whole thing is that the trip to this new world that they're going to colonize takes 4.5 years, and They
have limited rations, obviously.
They had obviously limited rations, but it felt like it was super limited for some reason, because it felt like at one point they only get like 100 calories per meal, and that's 3 meals a day, which is 300 calories. You can't really survive on that.
No.
You need like at least, like, if you're gonna go for like starving yourself, you need like 900 calories.
I was about to say like 1,000,
especially
if
you're
normally
working. Yeah,
exactly.
Normally it's like between 15 up to 3,000 calories, depending on how much you move around.
Yeah, exactly.
So 1,500 to 3,000. But anyway, that's just once again to show how harsh it is for us, the working class, and how little they actually care about us, to the point where they'll just kill him without thinking about it. Because what is he? He's nothing but literal trash to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
they even called him that, didn't they?
Yeah, in the end, like you're literally a pile of shit. I think they say.
Yeah, I think that's what they said.
He's made out of waste material. Yeah, that's funny though. I mean, he literally is. He's a pile of garbage.
Which I don't know if that's the science behind it all, and we don't have the science behind it all. Because like, is that why they don't want to clone things you eat? Because you'd be eating waste material? Is it like lacking in nutrition? Does that disappear?
But he comes back as a fully functioning human, so it shouldn't matter. It's obviously it's just recoding DNA. Then technically we are the same DNA as poop.
Yeah.
So, true. Or not the same DNA, same atoms.
Yeah. I mean, everything's the same atom. You're the same
That's what
kind
I
of
mean.
atom as a star.
We're
so.
all stardust. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So then, like, I get that they're trying to make a point about the whole cloning thing, or about that, people are, or he is expendable. But it does, after a while, you start like, but you could just print food. Why don't you?
Yeah.
I don't want to call
the entire story falls apart on that a little bit because it's such an obvious
plot hole.
oversight.
Yeah. I don't want to call it a plot hole because of that.
No, it is an intense...
It's a storytelling mechanism.
Yeah, it's intentional, but at the same time, it's such it's the first thing anyone thinks of when you see that kind of machinery. You go,
I can make anything.
copy a steak.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from just scanning a steak and 3D printing a new one?
Yeah.
Cooked if you want to, basically. Because, I mean, she wants to copy sauce.
Yeah, what was her...
I don't know
how...
was.
We're not... That's not quite spoilers.
No, because it has nothing to do with anything.
No, yeah. Do we just... In case we're going to start talking details, should we say spoiler warning at this point?
Yeah, I guess we're far enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 20 minutes in.
So...
If you don't want details spoiled, random details that might have to do with the story and might not.
Because I don't really have anything to discuss specifically about the story, but in case we mention something, yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
So, spoilers.
From here on out, spoilers. You have been warned.
Yes.
So when Mickey dies, dies over and over again. But yeah. What was her obsession with sauce? First of all, there's also little details that never go on. Like when Mickey gets invited to the dinner, he gets a nice juicy steak and it's completely raw. And
it's like gelatin. It's not technically... you can tell that it's not a normal steak. Neither cooked nor raw.
No, it kind of looks like a liver, but it's supposed to be a steak. But,
yes.
But the thing is, they mention the fact that they think it's like uncivilized to cook your food.
Did they?
When the other girl who's also at the dinner, when she comes in and she gets her food served, they mention like, you've been eating all that garbage, burnt food that we've been serving you, or whatever. They mention, and that's because all her sauces that the Trump's wife Ilfa makes are all it's just stuff she blends. She doesn't cook anything. No. They seem to have an aversion to cooked food, and I don't know what that is. What is?
They don't mention it enough.
No,
to point it out.
It's just mentioned once, and I'm like, what? Why? What?
Yeah,
that was like one of the first. Because if you want to look at this from an anthropological perspective, one of the things that started our journey towards going from animal to human, so to speak, was that we learned to cook our food, to put our food into the fire to make it tastier and easier to digest. So it's a weird thing now that their upper class doesn't want to cook their food. What are they trying to say with that? I was super confused by that.
It's pure.
Are they making fun of I'm trying to think is this an RFK Jr. thing because he likes weird diets, or the guy who talks like this and I eat raw honey and dead animals. The guy who's the nutritional president in America now, or whatever it's called. I don't know.
I've seen a bunch of those kinds of dudes. I don't know who that one is specifically.
Hold on.
My lighting just changed,
Jr. What's his name? He's an American politician, environmental... whatever. It doesn't say what he is right now. Yeah, I thought it was some weird detail.
Because at the same time, they mention a few times just purity. They want pure things, and I kept getting that what do they mean by that? Are they just pure racists? Because that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense because they have people of all creeds and races on the ship.
Yes. And they even call Nasha their top soldier, and she's black, so
yeah,
that wasn't it.
But the woman they pick for when I'm like, it's gonna be like a prime breeder, they call her.
Yeah.
It's a white lady, but so
True.
I don't know.
But she had an accent, so she wasn't like.
No, she was supposed to be like Russian or something.
Yeah, exactly. Which is.
Well, that's still.
Does that count?
It's still white. Russians
True.
still considered white, so.
True, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the most obvious thing was it was supposed to be Trump.
Yes.
But then there were all these other ideas they had that they threw in there that they didn't at all expand on, which was weird.
It bothered me that they had named the planet they were going to, or the moon, or whatever it was,
Niflheim. Yeah,
Niflheim, and that his wife's name was Ilfa, which is they all sound very Scandinavian. Like, are you?
Niflheim is one of the
It's a giant.
one of the 9 realms. No, that's Jotunheim.
Oh, right, it's one of the 9 realms.
One of the 9 realms.
Ilfa just is
in Thor,
is
but also in real
exactly
Scandinavian
Norse mythology.
Yeah, Norse mythology.
And Ilfa is a way of spell. The way they spell it is a way of spelling a Swedish name.
Ylva.
Ylva.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that was just something that survived from the book. Oh, the book is new. It's by Edward Ashton. Okay. Just see if it says something here. They're on the wiki is super short. It doesn't say anything. Nah. Anyway.
I mean, yeah, sure. The why they chose to name it Niflheim is because in Norse mythology that is the realm that is permanently in winter.
Sure.
Oh right, it's the afterlife for those who do not die a heroic death.
Oh, okay.
It's the bad place, I guess.
Didn't actually know that. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The big problem this time was I don't know what the movie wanted to tell us. I mean,
me neither.
A bunch of stuff.
Except for the purity and
no, it wanted to say a bunch of stuff. Like, it was obviously anti-capitalist. Because they mentioned that there's an economic incentive to keep this cloning thing around. Because we can clone workers. Okay, we get it. And that's obviously the thing. The working class can sign on to be expendables. Although, once again, where the story kind of get in the way of the message, there can only be one expendable per colony.
Yeah, it was
so. You can only mistreat
the other
one
ones
worker. I mean, mistreat us in that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Because they were so that whole thing about the church and the government being scared of cloning, and then still, this guy managing to like kind of bypass that and get the cloning machine with him on this mission.
Yeah.
Yes, but you're also part of a church, obviously, because there was the whole church thing.
Yeah,
with him.
He even kept saying church. Oh, I mean my company or whatever.
Company,
yeah.
like, yes.
We get
you
it.
sound like a pyramid scheme dude.
Yeah.
You know, one of those big church men that have those extravagant sermons where they fly and shit.
Yeah. No, that was the thing. So first it was that, like, oh, okay, they literally want to clone workers. Like we are expendable to them, so to speak. But then there was also this like religious dogma thing where purity and a cloned soul is not a real soul, so that's why we can't have duplicates. Which was also just it had happened twice in the history of the world, and that was like a big thing.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And the church was arguing that, that's why we can't do it, because you can't copy the soul, blah blah blah. But that was only that was it.
That was
what was the point? Because it doesn't really matter in the end when that kind of comes out.
It doesn't matter in the context of the movie, really.
No,
because it has no impact on what they do with the cloning or like what he does in the movie, what his role is.
Yeah. And then
the soul is never really relevant.
No. And then it's the whole thing that a religious a church goes into space to find this new. Obviously, they're going to the new land to colonize it. It's that, and
it's
they
the
come
Crusades.
there, and they get to this new world, and the first new people
native
they meet, the natives they meet, they like, oh my god, it's fucking vermin, we have to kill it. And the more sensible people, the scientists,
Yes.
they like, no, maybe we should talk to them at first. Yeah.
Get to know them.
Like, no,
see if they actually are bad people.
And there's that whole thing too. And I'm like, it was so unfocused in what it was like. People saying, well, it's just commenting on all of those things. Yeah, I get it, but it's the unfocused thing. Then, like, focus on one thing, make that like very well made instead of having all these different aspects that you want to poke fun at. It's like he had hubris and like, oh, I hate this, I want to make fun of that. Oh, I hate this too, and I want to make fun of this, and everything. Like, or he was like pandering to every like anti-liberal thing he doesn't like. You know, it was it was weird. No, it wasn't weird. It was confusing.
Yes.
Or annoying.
Annoying, mainly.
Because if I say confusing, people are going to say, oh, you just didn't get it. Like
No, it wasn't confusing. It was just too much, really. There were too many of those little things that we were supposed to care about, but there were so many of them that none of them were fleshed out properly and discussed, really. Except for colonization, bad. But again, that wasn't discussed within the movie. It was one scene, really, where one character goes, "Oh, you colonizer." There wasn't anything else though. Like, they never really even talked about it in private.
No. And then once again, it was this modern science fiction where the bad guys couldn't be reasoned with, so we'll just kill them.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no like talking to them, like, no, we should just kill them because, you know, if we don't, like, we're all about inclusivity and loving everyone except for ones we don't like, and then we're gonna fucking kill them. Like, okay. I mean, imagine the movie actually ended with Marshall, the president, actually talking to the mother bug thing.
Yeah,
because they even had a translating machine. They could talk to each other.
Yeah,
and you'd be like, oh, I understand. But I think
because that whole thing, we need to talk about that whole thing specifically, which is very spoilery, but we've warned.
We warned, yeah.
The whole life for life. Like, sure, I get that the mother did.
Which also,
technically, they're a primitive creature compared to us because they don't seem to be using tools and stuff like that.
No.
Sure. And I understand the life for life. Poor little Nuko or whatever his name was.
Luko died on Zoko was saved.
Right. Little Luko died. Yeah. Because they literally shot him to shreds. Which is such an overreaction, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, oh my god, kill it! Oh, we don't know what it is. Kill it!
Fear of the unknown, sure, but like it's a tiny thing, and all it did was run around. Relax. Did it even bite anyone? The first one they met? But like, do we know if it pierced through her clothes? No. Because then the person who was bitten died. So, who cares? No, wait, she survived. Oh, whatever. Doesn't matter, because it didn't come back into play. No one talked about that stuff.
No.
I understand the whole wanting a life for life, sure. But then I have to question how the fuck they managed to do that, because when they finally blew up the car with 2 humans on it, for example, first of all, even though only one creature died.
You see a bunch of the creatures around the car?
Yeah.
But they showed them having moved away from it.
Sure. They also showed one of the cars driving over a little one. We don't really see if that one survived or died because it just disappeared. But I think that's an editing mistake. Because one of them literally goes under.
I didn't notice
under
that.
the larva wheel thing.
I was looking for that because I mentioned like they had killed one of the bugs, so they wanted one human killed. And I was like, they're driving these huge trucks all over the ice where there's thousands.
Yeah,
of
like
these bugs.
straight into them.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're just gonna. But that fine. Nobody gets hit. Whatever.
Yeah.
Once again, I
guess.
thought that was fine because they were making a point there. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
but they
nitpick
could have.
that.
It looks stupid. They could have like made it more of a point to have the creatures scatter faster or something. Give them a bigger range. I don't know.
Sure.
Bothered me, to be honest, because it looked like they killed a bunch.
But that's just a visual. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm excusing one thing. I'm not excusing another. But how would you scattering faster? Okay, I mean that's not a really solution.
No, it's just visually it looks better.
Yeah. No, I just think it was. If it felt like if it's a life for a life. That feels like their relationship. They seem to be like friends afterwards, but that still means like that's a very shaky alliance. Like, what if someone accidentally kills another bug? Is it is it's a full on war then, or is it like
is it again just life for
life?
life?
Yeah, and that's a weird relationship to have with another people.
It's like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I accidentally knocked over something that crushed one of your bugs. Here. Take one of my friends.
Yeah.
Who do you sacrifice
when
you accidentally kill someone?
That's always weird. But once again, it's just it's surface level stuff. We don't have to go into detail because we need to make our point.
Yeah. That's the problem we usually have. When a movie has big flaws, we start focusing on the small flaws as well.
Well, yeah, but we talked about that. I don't remember which episode we talked about that, but it's as when at least for me, when I'm not like immersed, then those little things start like nagging me immediately. If I'm loving the movie and I'm immersed, I'm just like, oh, I'll forgive that because I'm really invested. Here,
most of the time you won't even notice.
Yeah, and here I wasn't invested.
So
everything stuck out to me. Then I was like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And then you just start hating the movie even more. Yeah.
I mean, if you're able to like overlook all of the stupid details and
I did. The only thing I couldn't really overlook was the whole, because that was the only thing that irked me afterwards was the whole cloning thing. Like, why are you only cloning one person? Clone a bunch of shit.
Yeah, clone everything. Clone everyone. Make everyone have a... I mean, they even... Oh, we're getting into it. Whatever. They even had control of what memories they brought back into him because they made a hard drive copy.
Yeah.
Which it seemed they could like plug into a computer if they wanted to. Like, could they not just choose what to bring back then?
Yeah.
And then make a version that is... I don't know, more docile, more, what's it called? More,
agreeable.
Yes. And maybe easier to control then. So you could have a little workforce for yourself.
But now you're thinking now you're in evil mode. I was thinking more like,
I know.
We can clone more food so they don't have to eat like 100 calories of slop. Yeah, I know, but I mean, why do you want... Okay. I was just like, now you're using it for the same wrong reasons they're using it. That's what I was trying to get to.
Yes, but you can clone plants too. You can clone animals. Yeah. You can clone plates if you want to clone a plate. I don't fucking know.
No. Well,
maybe not now because that's not... Yeah, that's true. Whatever. I get it. That's why I don't... This is the same with time travel. Like, time travel doesn't work, so please don't put it in a movie. Cloning is just a very complicated discussion topic. Just try to avoid it because you'll just raise so many questions and what ifs and why nots.
Yeah.
That usually isn't discussed enough in the movie, so it leaves the audience going, why didn't they do that? Why didn't they think of that? And it ruins the movie for me. Because it takes away from the actual movie. You start focusing on that dumb shit that wasn't necessary, I guess. Unless they give you a very clear, like, no, this machine, we've only figured out how to do it with humans because it has to do with a specific thing that only humans have or something.
Which is also,
like,
that's so not scientifically correct because it would be much easier to clone like a frog than a human.
Yeah, because it's a simpler life than a human. Yeah. But maybe it is. Maybe they need the complexity for it to work. I don't fucking know. If they say that's the reason, at least that like this, they explain it in a scientific way, I'll excuse it. I'll approve it. I'll go with, yeah, sure, whatever. They have an explanation. I'm good with that. But to not have an explanation at all is very annoying.
Yeah, I don't mind cloning in movies. I like one of my favorite movies is Multiplicity, where Michael Keaton clones himself so he has more free time from work and his family and stuff.
Sure.
But the more he clones them, the more retarded they become because it's like a copy of a copy.
Then they kind of explain the issues with cloning then. In this one, they don't really do it because he is literally the same person. He just happens to have a little bit of a different personality. He's still the same person.
Yeah.
100%. He's not lesser in any way.
No. But what I mean is, I'm fine with them having cloning machines and not explaining exactly how it works and all that. But what my problem is, like, why not then utilize it more than to just clone one person over and over again? That's my problem.
Yeah, no, that's what, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying too. But if they have an explanation for it, I'm fine with it. But they don't. They didn't give us an explanation to why they didn't do that. Yeah. Like, instead of trying to create that artificial meat that they fed Mickey, why didn't they just give him clone meat?
Yeah, that's also the meat he eats. Turns out it was lab grown meat with experimental growth hormones in.
Yeah,
it's like, and it gave me an allergic reaction. It's like, why you could literally just clone meat? It's so dumb.
Yeah. It was a weird way of testing it as well. Like, why invite him to the dinner to test it? And then at the same time, oh wait, we can try that other thing because he's in pain. Let's try the...
Well, because he's the expendable.
Yeah, but do it in a controlled environment, not in their fancy apartment.
I don't know.
They've done every other test in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
They did the nerve gas tests
why did
in
have to disguise
the
this
lab.
as a fake
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It was to make
like, just invite him to the lab. Hey, we have a job for you.
It was to make a point that even when they want to do something nice, even if it's just a symbolic thing, they still just
it's not
use
really nice.
You.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to get to before we came back to the cloning thing. In a smart, intelligent, clever movie like this, I'm making huge quotation signs here if you're just listening to this episode.
Yes.
Why is it that the bad guys are like cartoon villains that can't be reasoned with? Like, if that's so unintelligent. And we discussed this earlier. Well, no, last year. We talked about Megalopolis. How it felt so refreshing, especially some for a Star Trek fan like I am, even if I'm a pretty new Star Trek fan. I in the last 5-6 years have become so enamored with a positive like vision for the future. To look at the future with like open eyes and see that we can make something better.
Yes.
Like Star Trek. Like Star Trek is the perfect future, even though they've tried to poke holes in that theory with the new Trek stories, but dumb. And then Megalopolis, where he has this pipe dream to create a perfect world where everyone is fine, but it's impossible. No, I literally have the building blocks here. It's Megalon or whatever it's called, and then he does it in the end. It's just like, oh, sure, it's not real. It's fantasy, but that's because it's a movie. But isn't it a wonderful thing to dream about? And then you get to something like this,
nice things.
Yeah, and then you come to something like this, and it just this. Not that this is the only, like, but I mean, it felt like such a regular take on the future again, like,
yeah.
And I'm trying to, like, it's not that we have many examples of a bright future in movies and stuff like that, but I'm so over the dystopian future thing. It's
yeah.
It's much.
it's been done. We know. Like, we've seen it before.
And
we see it in the news all the time.
It's okay to have a dystopian future if you're doing like an act like a Terminator thing. Like, it's just a reason to have robots shoot each other. Fine, that's fine. But if you're trying to send a message, like a progressive message of like how we should treat each other, how we can create a better world, actually try to do that. Don't just say that. Well, we'll just kill the bad people and then it'll be better. No.
Yeah, because that's not how it works.
That's not how we should do it.
Yeah.
That's the part I didn't like about it. It was so disheartening to see that that Marshall, the bad guy, he couldn't be changed at all. Not that he didn't really try. They talked to him, but his character didn't have that come to Jesus moment where he was like, "Whoa, I get it now." Like, if he had actually gotten to talk to the bug, maybe he'd like understood. Yeah. But they didn't. No,
I mean, he
just wants to shoot them, and then they shoot him instead. Oh, okay. Yeah.
There was an obvious flaw with that from the get-go when they decided on the planet they were going to. Like, he didn't really care about making a colony that would thrive properly. He just wanted to get off the planet that he was on, because choosing an ice planet.
Yeah, that's also
like, dude.
That also
do your research.
That also feels like just trying to make him dumb. Like, he picked the first planet he found and it was an ice planet that's obviously uninhabitable.
Exactly.
Which is also something they don't address later. Like, in the end of the movie, it says 6 months later, spring. And it's like, yeah, but it's still like cold and barren. What are you gonna, and nothing.
The only thing they mentioned, which was like very important, they made a vaccine for the atmosphere.
Yeah, and they did show them that they were planting stuff in the caves.
Sure.
So I guess, okay, they can grow some things, but it's just like...
But why didn't you, like, go there during spring then? Why were you arriving at wintertime? Yeah. Or something? Like, because it took 6 months before you could plant anything, and then it takes months for that to become big enough for you to harvest anything.
Yeah. Or also...
Unless it's all that weird... there's this, like... algae you can grow in like days, and it's very nutritious. I don't remember what it's called.
Know what it's called. or the fact that obviously the whole thing that we're gonna leave Earth and colonize a new planet. That's obviously a dig against Elon Musk, because he wants to colonize Mars. He says, or occupy Mars.
Yeah. Go for it.
Because Earth is ruined. We might as well just go to new planets. Like, no, we need to try to fix our problems on Earth. Is better.
Kind of backtrack certain things. Correct things.
It feels like that is the general consensus on the left side, or whatever you want to call it. But here, then it's like they go along with it, and then it's just like, they instead of we'll go back to Earth and help make it a better place again, they stay on the planet.
Yeah.
There's wires being crossed here. I don't know, what are you trying to say? So you damn colonizers are gonna stay on the planet and colonize it, but you're friends with the natives, and then it's okay?
Yeah.
I don't know. So messy.
It's such a
hodgepodge,
deeply rooted and like big issue that already exists, that if you put it in a movie, you need to properly talk about it.
Yeah.
You can't just brush over it like, it's that thing.
Yeah.
You need to make Avatar. You need to actually talk about what happens with the natives and how it affects the environment when you start planting foreign plants. For Christ's sake, have you not heard of Australia being very sensitive because it's very separate from everything else?
Yeah.
You can't bring in seeds there. You can't plant whatever you want there because it might kill the natural flora and fauna.
Yeah.
So what if these bugs are allergic to tomatoes? What do you do then?
Yeah.
I
don't know.
That's why I don't like any of these kinds of movies. Like, unless I want to see that they have made an effort into, like, even if it's fake, have some science behind it. Make up fake science. Just make it sciencey enough to make it sound like you've actually tried.
Yeah.
Not just, we'll go to another planet.
Yeah.
We'll clone people.
Well, I don't know. I'm not on the cloning train. I don't think we should clone people.
It all bothers me a little bit. But I was able, once I was watching the movie, while I was just looking at it, I was able to not focus on that stuff because it was entertaining enough, in my opinion.
Sure.
I think the only thing I actually was bothering by then and there was the fact that they looked like they ran over more of the little critters. Like, dude, I saw one disappear. Where did it go?
Yeah.
You just killed another one. Now you need to kill someone else.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I think we can kind of wrap it up there.
Yes.
I'm just looking at some of the reviews. It's got great reviews, of course. It has a 72 out of 100 on Metacritic. One here stuck out, which is the whole thing. Which is the whole thing. Like, we'll just that they brush over all the actual problems. Because here, IndieWire gave it a 91 out of 100. It's David Ehrlich. He writes, This isn't just another great Bong Joon-Ho movie about how much he hates capitalism, though it definitely is that too, which is kind of funny based on who is producing this, but whatever. It's the first Bong Joon-Ho movie about how much he loves people, except for the ones he blows up, of course. You know?
Yeah.
Except for the ones he doesn't love. He loves people, except for the ones he doesn't love. Those he fucking hate.
But where does he show that he loves people in this movie?
Because it has a happy ending, unlike Parasite. And the main character, even though he lived a hard life, in the end, he's happy and
he gets a happy ending. So a happy ending means he loves people.
Yeah, and the right people are guiding them into the future in the end, and they get rid of the cloning machine, and they all they're all happy, lovey-dovey with the bugs and all that. I think that's how they're explaining it, that he loves people. Okay.
Sure. I'll go with that, I guess.
Yeah. And same here, the Globe and Mail from Toronto. The entire spectacle is so unabashedly outrageous that you cannot help but side with its many excesses. No, I can't.
No.
Not at all. So it has a lot of 9s and 8s, 7s, 6s.
It has two
bad ones.
10s.
Oh, I only see one though. 1, 3.
I'm on Metascore, like the top ones.
Oh, but
Independent gave it 100, and Total Film gave it 100.
Yeah, but I was looking at the bad ones. See, it has one negative review or so. I mean, negative review. 3 out of 10. The Wall Street Journal, which is kind of funny because Wall Street. Even an audience expecting very little would be underwhelmed by this meandering, snowy dud, which for all its extravagance at a reported $120 million budget, combines insipid messaging with witless comedy and a weak plot that gets resolved in a silly way. Yeah. I agree, but I don't hate it that much.
No, it wasn't that bad.
But I agree.
It's just there's still too much about it that is good and well made that it weighs up a little bit. Yeah.
So I think that's it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's Mickey 17. It was exactly what I expected, which wasn't much.
Yeah, if you're able to overlook the social commentary, it's fine.
Yeah, even though that's the point of the movie.
I know, but if you just don't dig too deep into it.
Yeah. What are we doing for Patreon this week?
I don't know. Another Bong Joon-Ho film that I haven't seen, maybe, or another social commentary.
No, we're doing another Bong Joon-Ho movie in that case.
Maybe we'll do Snowpiercer then, because I kind of want to watch that.
God. Okay, yeah, we can do Snowpiercer. Now, that one's even dumber. I'll warn you.
We'll see. I'll say one of his movies, and then we'll see which one we pick.
Sure. So that's Patreon. So if you want to see what we talk about on our Patreon exclusive episode, check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene.
Yes.
For $3 a month, you literally get hundreds and hundreds of hours of exclusive material. Other than that, thank you so much for listening, watching,
tuning in.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to 5-star and follow on all the other podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. And we'll see you next week with something. Not sure yet. I don't know what's popular. But until then, have a good one. Bye. The Spoiler Cast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It's produced and hosted by Tobias Vedén. Co-host is Rebecca Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. I also want to give a shout out to all our patrons over patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. CK85, Christopher Bylén, Daniel Gaisu, Annika Vedén, Jacob, Mom and Mac, and Laura Kinney.